This is the brand new Redwood Industries Defender class frigate. If you've been around my channel for the last couple of years, or rather 5 to 8 years, you might remember this ship. To be honest, if you've watched any of my videos, there's a chance you've seen this ship. It's sort of a stable point of my sort of like online Space Engineers brand. It's a very simple ship, which I built ages ago in Space Engineers, probably 8 to 9 years ago, so almost as old as the game itself, and it's sort of stayed with me ever since. As time has gone by, I've gently sort of updated it to reflect the times of Space Engineers, but never really wanted to rapidly redesign it. I still don't, for context, because I think that would break the sort of like design going for. It'd be like redesigning the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. You wouldn't tune in next week to find it has been massively changed during Kirk's era. That'd be a little bit weird. In my mind at least. So anyway, with some of the recent updates to Space Engineers, I thought it's high over time that I update and refit the Defender. It is still the Mark II, or the secondary version of the Defender, but this time we've actually visually updated it. In this video, I'll take you through some of the new features, including airlock, upgraded hangar, a redesigned bridge, brand new interior, and some new armor placing and weapons. Okay, let's go. Okay, straight off the bat, I know what you're all being drawn to. Like, Jack, finally there's an airlock on the ship. Look at this. We've got an airlock here in Space Engineers. Yay! Now, in previous incarnations of the Defender, I've sort of always wanted to board the ship by the hangar deck. So obviously we know the hangar deck is around over here, or rather a bay to be fair. If I turn my headlight on, this is the hangar bay. Yes, I know we still don't have a button on the outside. I don't really care. It's made for cinematics. So nowadays we've got the airlocks. That kind of answers that problem. You can answer from, or open it from the inside. Problem solved. But given how much we've used the Defender in recent series and sort of just playing around with, I felt an airlock was more essential, especially as we begin to use this more and more in Space Engineers. Also from a survival standpoint, by the way, these ships aren't really made for survival. It will work in survival, I can't guarantee you how well it will work. But from a survival standpoint, having an airlock makes a lot more sense, so now we can finally actually get in the ship. When we do the interior tour in a second, I will show you what it's like inside there and how the airlock system works. Now you probably see from side to side of the airlock, we've actually got 2 Gatling guns here. Or rather 2 Vulcan turrets. We're still using the battle cannons and turrets mod. This is up until I make my own version of a weapons mod. If you'd like to see something like that, by the way, let me know in the comment section. I'm thinking of making a pure specific Redwood Industries weapon mod that will sort of replicate some of the weapons we've already got here. Some of the weapons, that's how that language works. Some of the weapons we've already got here, but redesign them and maybe make them newer for like the new versions of Space Engineers we keep getting at the minute. I would definitely like to mimic the style of this Vulcan, but perhaps do a new high quality model which sort of fits with the designs we're going for. So if you'd love to see something like that, hit the like button on this video and let me know what you would like to see in the comments when it comes to specific types of weapons. We've also got indented armor here, so we're using blast door blocks. So turn my headlights on, sort of like, you know, indent the armor there. Obviously here we've actually got it sat on like the conveyor tube. We can't really fix that, but you can't really notice it anyway. These are using armored conveyors. Very run over back there. Now using a bit of sort of indentation armor here, a bit of greebling, I guess you could call it. But previously the Defender hasn't really used much greebling. I did very much like its flat design surface, and I know some are critical of that. Personally, I like it. With this new version, I think like Redwood will sort of begin to design the ship and bolt things on. This is very much a ship that has been through a lot in Redwood's history. It came off a production line very brisk and clean. Nowadays, because of what everything's been through, you'd want to redesign and add new things to it. You'd essentially learn from where the defects are out in the battlefield. So we put more PDCs on it to defend against fighters, missiles, incoming shells, basically anything. The ship can defend more of itself now. As we move over here to the flight pod, we've got more sort of greebling going on here with the sort of like indented armor here. It almost looks like a patch job, but also reinforced sections at the same time. Now, I've also got these sort of Gatling bits down here as well to protect the Vulcans. I really like this armor piecing. Don't ask me why I like it. It just works. We've also got armor sticking out here as well. It just breaks up the flatness of the surface. I'm still a really big fan of the flat design of a Defender. I think it works with this specific ship. We've also got the sort of like ramp section going back here, coming at the engineer, almost looking to reinforce it a little bit. Very nice. I like that. Underside here, we've also got sort of like Gatling, or not Gatling, sorry, more armor placing going in the back here, sort of like sinking into the hull there, which is really nice. We are still using the tiered atmospheric thrusters for atmospheric landings and things like that. That just makes more sense. You'd have to use a hell of a lot of vanilla thrust to actually make it. This ship is modded. There's no shame in saying that. I'm happy with it being modded. You should be happy with it being modded. Will I release the vanilla version? Nope. It is purely modded, and that's how we get these 3x3 shapes. I know some have criticized it previously, saying, Jack, you should just use 2x1s. I like the 3x1s. These are a modded block we have to use, because even though Keen don't have them in the game for Space Engineers, they are actually in the bloody logo for the game. So if you start up Space Engineers and you see the Keen Software House thing, it's using the mod or a mod like this. So you know what? I'm going to use it as well. Marek, Keen, Vladislav, who's watching, Joel, Zockley, Aaron, add 3x1 slopes, please. We kind of need them. It would allow us to build bigger ships. Crack on and do it. Now, you can't really notice many changes on the top of the hull here, or dorsal, I guess we can call it. The armor has been reinforced. This is now all heavy armor along the top side here. I can't really show it to you because we're obviously in sort of like dark painting here. But we've also realigned some of the weapons. We've got bowfalls at the front here, flat guns, and then our Vulcan turrets again. I painted these red just because they sort of suit the design style. More flat guns over here as well. All in all, most of our weapons are the flat guns, the Vulcans, and the bowfalls, and obviously our giant big gun at the front here. Very nice. Also, these sort of like indented patterns here. I really like this slope. It just adds like a little bit different texture to it. In my mind, I really want to put missile launchers here, but I didn't think it fitted this sort of style of ship. This is very much defense frigate. We don't want to overarm it too much. The defenders are still meant to sort of be the underdog of Redwood. They're good, but they're a bit like ISDs in Star Wars where they get blown up every 5 seconds. They're still good warships, or just battleships in general, whatever you want to class. Obviously, that's not a class. They're still good ships, but, you know, they're not the best of the best when it comes to Redwood's fleet. That's always something I want to highlight. Now, in terms of back section here, we've re-put the antennas on here. In previous Defender ones, we didn't have the antennas up here. We had them on the first generation, then we moved them back down and hid them around here. I've actually added them back, and I think it suits the sort of profile very, very well. A lot of people say, oh, Jack, for bridge section, it's going to get taken out immediately. Again, this is made with cinematics and sort of like, you know, RP. We're not always going to target a bridge, but don't worry, I do have a solution to the bridge targeting issue, and I'll show you in just a second. The antennas fit up there, and they complete the profile, if you ask me. In terms of that, not much of the exterior has actually changed. I was debating of changing the engines background here. However, I kind of like them. They do look a little bit out of place, but I reckon a sort of redesign would fit them in it a little bit better. For the minute, they work here on another version of the Defender, which you will see in Colony Alliances and a few other series very soon. These ones will actually be built in a little bit better, and you'll be able to see that. So that makes sense. Again, mag plates on the inside of it. I don't know if I mentioned those. Let us take an interior tour, and I can show you all the updated interior of the Defender class. Okay, so I'm in character mode over here. Obviously, here's the airlock, but I jetpack out. So you sort of come up to here. Obviously, ships can dock to this as well. We've got to connect different dockings and merge blocks, or you can just sort of like, you know, get close enough and sort of hop over, and boom, there you go. In the door here, this activates our airlock system. I will turn my headlights off. There you go. It should seal. Boom. We're now clean. Now, sometimes the air vents don't quite work. It's a bit of a weird. It is pressurized. It just doesn't like it. So we open the door. There you go. We are pressurized. See? It's like a little glitch in SE. Don't ask me why it does that. It's really annoying. Because if we go back in it now, we're still fine. It's just really weird how it works with that. Now, you probably notice the doors close them by themselves. So far on the ship, we're running 2 scripts that sort of come as standard with the Defender when you download it from the Steam Workshop. The automatic closing doors script, and also the airlock one itself, which controls both these airlocks. There you go. Happy days. At the front of the ship here, got the gravity generator. Captain's quarters. Just sort of like a more premium upgraded quarters. Using a new half bed in here. Very nice desk. These rooms are meant to be modular and customized. There's the same room over here, maybe for the XO or like Commander or First Officer. Again, most of these rooms can be customized. They're sort of here for design purposes. Crew quarters, locker in here, bed, done and done. On hindsight, probably should have put a bathroom in here, but you know, it is what it is. It's an RP ship. We don't really care. We've updated the lighting on the corridor section here, and sort of upgraded the sort of greebling interior design as well. New paintworks going along here. Very nice. Air fans. I love this block. It's one of my most favorite blocks, which was introduced in the Automatons update, I believe, was it? Yes, it was. I always forget what updates happen. We're using sort of new corner blocks up here as well to block things off. Loving that. What's in here? This is our medical bay in here. Very nice. So using the new medical bay from... Is this some automations as well? Automon, what it's called? It's from Deco 3, isn't it? Yeah, so this is from Deco 3. And there we go. Storage crate in here. I had to put one of these crates in. I love these. And cargo container access. This will access the entire ship. So if you spawn here, you can get all your weapons. Think of it like that. There's armories on board. Cryo rooms in here. Now, I couldn't really think how to put the cryo rooms in, so it made sense using this block. We put these ones in here. Now, the Defender can probably have a minimum crew of like 10 to operate the ship properly. So there's 4 cryo tubes, so you could rotate people in and out of cryo. These panels I've added throughout the ship here. I think like from a nice RP thing, you can just sort of access these things and play with them, which is really nice. So you should see a few of them on the ship here. I think another one... We've got one here as well, and we've got one over here. Now, this is sort of down to deck 2. Oh, sorry, deck 3 and 4. I will show you that in just a second. In the meantime, let us walk through this way, and I'll show you the rest of the ship. We do still have a blast door here, so that can go down and close. There we go, very nice. And we can bring it back up again as well. There you go, it comes back up. Happy days. This section hasn't received much of a redesign. Cargo container access is here, sort of using these new blocks to create that interior design. Air vents as well, very nice. Crates on here. I like to think of this area as modular. You could put whatever you want here. Doesn't really matter. The new Redwood Industries logo is put up there. Very, very nice. Now going up here, behind this door is the answer to everybody who says the bridge is too exposed. It is a battle bridge, or rather the sort of CIC and automation area. This is our programmable blocks we're using. These are actually running the scripts. This one's running the whips auto door and airlock script, very nice. And this one should be running nothing, because it's actually both of those. It's the same script. I forgot that. So this one I think was going to run the inventory sorting system. We don't need it by default because we're not really playing with a ship in a survival mode, but you can basically put anything you want on this. And there's room for extra programmable blocks. You could easily rip out the screen and put one there, or put one here. You know, but there's room for it if you want to modify this area. The ship can be fully controlled by this section. There you go. Happy days. I can move the defender. That's just something to keep in mind. I think we're now drifting ever so slightly. Here we are. Okay, cool. Right, up to the bridge. Bridge has got 2 access ways going up to it. I was debating putting an airlock here. Went against it though. Maybe we'll put one there in a future iteration. Control keypads are here. Ta-da. Ta-da. Happy days. I need to replace the air vent. I'll remember to do that before we post this to the workshop. Maybe. Or maybe I'll forget intentionally and you guys can point it out. This is the newly updated bridge. Now you may notice there's nothing massively redesigned about it. It's still keeping the general style. We have switched the lighting so it's a bit more bright on here, and also so the colours can contrast off each other. The red is now more pronounced. We've also got the new upgraded Cult Command console blocks, so the consoles look a bit more high quality, and the screens as well. I imagine for future cinematics, we'll design our own LCDs to use on here, so we feel a bit more R.W.I-ish, but whatever we're working on, so just keep that in mind. Now up here, we obviously got the Red Industries logo. I imagine in a sort of like, if it's a custom ship like Serenity or, you know, the Intrepid, we'd have the ship sigil here. Bit like, you know, think of it like the dedication plaque on board the USS Enterprise in Star Trek or something like that. You'd have that there. We're still using the Azimuth seat for the minute. This may get replaced at a later date. For the minute though, Azimuth Industries, and maybe we'll replace that later. We do have our own captain's seat. We've got Helm console, operations console. Sitting here, you can command the whole ship. Very nice, happy days. Got all the weapons accessible there as well. Perfect, turn those off, and you can just control stuff. Center console table is here as well, so your commanders can gather around and discuss the recent situation. Other than that, we kept a bit of sort of open space at the back here. I did want to maybe try and turn this into a CIC or like, not CIC, I guess like an office, like would make sense, or a ready room. Haven't quite designed it yet. I was thinking of a conference table, but I kept it as is. It works, so maybe we'll do something with that later on. Still, I like it with empty space in it because it means we can play with it when we're making cinematics. Something key to keep in mind. Okay, we're going to head down to the bottom of the ship now to deck 3, and we will take a look at what's next. So, if we veer off to the left here, we can go into the stairwell. Don't have to worry about closing the door. Now, this section, it still irritates me a little bit. Maybe I will change this and redesign it. But for the minute, it works. So, yeah, I guess so. Air vent up here as well. This is a panel block, so we are hiding the storage sort of container, or like one of the pipes, I think. So, yeah, a little bit of detail there for you. Now, we do have a new airlock here into the nacelle bays. So we can go through airlock system again. Wait for the door to close. Now we can open up. Annoyingly, the script would be good if it vented things, but it doesn't. So in here, nothing particularly new in this area. It is basically just a way to access the hydrogen tanks and things like that. Yeah. So you can access different systems, things like that. It's kind of cool. Using inset blocks here. I don't really see the point of it too much, but it works. It's there, okay? So you can play with it. Right, on to deck 3. We've got the engine room, and then we've got the machine shop up here. I'll show you that first. Quickly here, armory. Armory. Happy days. Machine shop kind of does what it says on the tin. Finally, this area is pressurized, by the way, due to these air vents now. Half air blocks, by the way, Keen. Well done for including those. That makes my life 10 times easier. In here, we've got the machine shop. So basically, assemblers in here, refinery, oxygen tank, storage areas, happy days. We need to add one more light in here, I believe. The old logo is still here. So this one isn't fully complete yet. We basically need to add some extra stuff here. And I think we've got to hook some things up here and there. But it works, you know, it does the job. It's basically so the defender can operate on its own on isolated missions. It can make spare parts and also keep an eye on its oxygen and hydrogen supplies. Happy days. Zooming all the way back here, we go to the engineering bay. Now, engineering's had a bit of an upgrade. You may remember if you've used the defender previously. Jump drives, we've skimmed this down to make it a bit more simplistic. We've taken away the arm paneling around here. We may add some stuff back there later, but for the minute, it just keeps things nice and simple. So you can come in here and control it. I'm thinking of adding a railing here. So basically, the defender is nearly finished, just some light touch-ups. Okay, into here, we've got a new engineering control room. Bit wider, bit more space. You no longer got the double doors here. Instead, you've got access to the engine room straight away. Shield control table down here. These modern defenders do come with the Defender Shield mod. So, you know, you've got control of those. Consoles, we're actually using the bridge blast door, the bridge window block. I always want to call it the bridge blast door, but it's a bridge window. So block things off there. Happy days. Pipes, air vents, Red Industries logo. Happy days. You've got all the stuff going along here. Button panel as well. These can be sort of signed up to make custom stuff. There's nothing controlling them at the minute, but the choice is yours. More control blocks back here as well. Happy days. I thought engineering, you definitely have these things. It also reminds me of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where Geordi would open one of these and it'd blow up in the next 5 minutes, causing a warp core breach. We all love those references. Warfare batteries in here as well. The engineering base has a few little upgrades to do, but for the minute it's kind of working. Access to gyros and things like that. I really want to put like an O2 thing in the wall there to add a bit more mechanical feeling. Maybe we'll do that by the time this makes it to the Steam Workshop. But for the minute, this is the engineering bay. Obviously, the main upgrade in here is sort of the operations control room. Everything else, plain and simple, happy days. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, big reactor. We're using deuterium reactors. I think actually this is the 7 gigawatt one now. So I think previously we had it like 15 or 30. I kind of felt for the sake of a ship, it doesn't really need that. Like, it can operate fine with a 7 gigawatt one. So it's got a 7 gigawatt one. If we want to upgrade it in future, we can. But for the minute, it does the job. Okay, let's check out the hangar, as I know you're all eager to see that. I know many of you actually like the hangar, weirdly enough. So let's go check it out. Back into the stairwell. Going down this way, more panels on the wall. This is the newly updated hangar. It's sort of a fresh look of what we know. New lighting as well. It's now fully lit, so if you're parking a fighter in here or a transport or anything at all, you've got access to do things like that. Control room, pretty plain and simple. Down here, another little box on the wall. And also we've got our cargo access and things around here as well. Annoyingly, I couldn't put a connector in here. I would like to have done that. We couldn't quite find room to put one in. I might try in future, but for the minute, it's kind of, bog standard. It does the job. Happy days, no complaints. These sort of things here, just decoration units. You can take those out if you wish, but they work for now. So control panels on the wall, happy days. Indication lights a bit brighter. We do have a connector on the ceiling though. So if you want to dock something to the top there, like a miner, it basically means you can fit a bit more in here, because you can fit a Valkyrie transport in here, and you can fit either a small fighter or miner docked upside down on the ceiling. Something to keep in mind when playing with the Defender. Okay everyone, I've been Captain Jack. This is my overview of the newly refitted Defender class. This is going on the Steam Workshop as its own separate creation. Therefore, the original Defender Mark II is there, the one we've slowly updated over the years, so you can play with that if you want. Or I'd highly recommend playing with this brand new one. It's the pride and joy of my fleet. Yes, I know it's rather basic. That's kind of the point behind it. I've always intended the ship to be rather basic and straight to the point. When you've got other things coming down the pipeline, like the Odyssey class battle cruiser, the newly updated Apollo, those are going to be more detailed. Those are more straight to the point. Keep that in mind. Do let me know what you think of it. This is one of my most sort of proudest designs I have, next to the Eclipse and things like that. I love a Defender. I know many of you really like it as well. Now you can get your hands on it on the Steam Workshop. I've been Captain Jack. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.